Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a Polygel kit unboxing for you guys. I'm going to do some nails and show you what you can create with this kit. This is a kit from Beetles, and I do want to thank them so much for sending that to me to show you guys. I'm going to show you the little pamphlets that come with the kit, and while I do that, I do want to remind you guys to please hit subscribe and ring your notification bell so you never miss out on any of my videos. So this kit comes with a ton. Seriously guys, it comes with so much. I'm sure you saw in the pamphlet. I'm going to show you each item individually as well. But basically, if you are a complete beginner and you don't have anything, this kit comes with everything that you will need to do some awesome nails with some awesome nail art. I also want you guys to know that even when a company sends me product, my feel about the product is never influenced. If I don't like it, I will let them know before posting a video, because I would rather not post a video than recommend something that's not good. So if I say it's good, I promise it is good. And I'm sure you guys have seen I've worked with Beetles a lot, or used their products on my channel a lot, and it's because they have great products, especially for the price that you get them at, but they also have some awesome ladies behind the brand, so I super appreciate them and I love working with them. Of course, everything will be linked down for you guys below, this kit as well as any other products, but I don't think I used very much from anyone else. I just think maybe my hand file and then like my e-file. That's about it. So this kit, it comes with a slip solution that's like their base coat. It's pretty amazing. I've never used base coat for my slip solution until this video, so you'll see that here shortly. So I'm just going to go through this little bag of the nail art products that it comes with. You've got bling, you've got your flame stickers, tweezers, glitters, chrome flakes, just everything that you could need to do some awesome nails. And of course they give you dual forms, but the great thing about this kit is that they give you dual forms that have straight sides, and they give you dual forms that are more curved. That was why a moment ago I was showing them together. Some people prefer the curved look, some people prefer it straight. I prefer it straight, so I appreciate that they had both options as well as nail forms. So even if you like sculpting, you can do it all with this kit. These are little butterfly chunky glitter pieces, super cute little mix, and I will be using it in the video today. Of course, you get your Polygel brush, which comes with a brush on one side and a spatula on the other. When you first get it, it will feel stiff. That is because there is a packing powder to keep it in its shape during the shipping process and everything. So you just want to make sure that you break that up before you go into using it. Then you get a pink, a white, and a clear Polygel 1 ounce tube, and this super cute diamond type shape, or like crystal type shaped UV lamp. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to start off my process with prepping the nails. If this was a real client or my hand, I would do more prep, but since this is my silicone hand, I'm just going to use my Soft Grit Zebra brand just to remove the shine off of the nail plate. Then I will go in and use dual form to create the base layer. I had a question from someone about the tips that I use for my silicone hand. These BT Art Box ones are the ones that I use, and I flip them around so they're coffin shaped, and I flip them around so that like the tapered edge goes up into that little cavity and the back of it becomes like the nail plate. So if this was a client, I would do the dehydrator and primer, so I was showing you that, but since it's not, there's no need to waste it. So I'm just going to go straight in with the base coat. This kit does not come with a dehydrator or primer, so if you need one, I will have it linked down below for you guys as well, the one that I recommend, but you can just use everything in the kit and you'll be okay too. I did not use dehydrator or primer for, I don't know, months when I first started using Polygel, and I never had a problem with my sets. So okay, so this is the first time I am testing out this slip solution. I put a little blob into my dual form, and the Beetles formula is a very soft Polygel, so once you get that slip on there, I just wipe some over the surface. you want to go in with your brush and pat it very lightly. The Polygel itself is already soft, but the slip solution makes it a little bit softer. It's like the slip solution allows it to be moved easier. So just use light pressure and you'll be good to go. And then I want to make these nails pretty long, so instead of using my fingers to hold the end, I'm just grabbing some tweezers and using that to hold the end for me and bringing that down as far as I want it. I'm going to show you guys today too how you can get a coffin shaped nail using Polygel in dual forms. So I'm just starting off my base layer, just like sidewall to sidewall. I'm not shaping it in the dual form. I'm going to put it on the nail and press it down, make sure that it is adhered well and that there's no air bubbles. And then I will use my brush to clean up around the back cuticle area, just to make sure there's none that's squeezed out. Now, if you're doing this on yourself and you don't have a e-file, you'll want to flip over your hand to see if any has squished out in front of your nail. If that has happened, just use your brush to gently smooth it out, and that will help keep you from getting that excess bulk underneath. I apologize, guys, about this kind of like bright white that's coming from the corner of my video. I've never had that happen before, and I'm not sure what caused it. I film on my iPhone, and I haven't switched phones, so I'm not entirely sure what happened here, but there's a couple places, such as now in the video, where it's pretty washed out, and I'm so sorry about that. I will definitely make sure I keep an eye on that in my next video so that it doesn't happen again. So I'm going to show you guys this one more time, and then we'll move into the next step.
I think about you all the time now. I guess that you never feel the same now. And I'm always waiting for your call, but I don't know, you don't want me sometimes, so and I run you out many girls, but you're always ignoring them. I know that you are thinking of me. You can know that you like me, yeah. And I run you out many girls, but you're always ignoring them, yeah. I know that you are thinking of me. You can know that you like me, yeah. And I run you out many girls, but you're always ignoring them, yeah. I know that you are thinking of me. You can know that you like me, yeah, yeah.
So now that I've gotten those all applied, I am going to buff the nails before I start in my next layer. So when you're using dual forms, if your nails are super short, like an active length, like barely a free edge, you don't need to add a second layer most of the time. But if it's longer than that active length, you do need to add a second layer and an apex to give the nail strength and to keep it from breaking or hurting. Like if you hit one of these and it doesn't have enough strength, it's gonna break and it's gonna hurt. So just buff off the shine. You can use a buffer, you can use a file, or you can use an e-file. I'll show you all three. And then once you've gotten all of the shine removed, then I'm gonna go in and shape the nails before I apply my second layer. I do that in order to keep from wasting product and to cut down my filing time. It's much easier to shape these up while it is such a thin base layer. So I'm just gonna go through and shape these into coffins, and we will continue with our second layer.
I don't know when it started. It feels
So now I'm just going to use my e-file just to blend the back edge and make sure it is flush on the sidewalls and on the cuticle before I add my second layer. And I'm also going to remove the shine from the other nails as well. So I'm just still using that same soft grit zebra sanding band, and I think I'm about 6,000 or 7,000 rotations per minute, so it's a pretty slow speed. And I'm just going to make sure that back edge is blended nicely so that when I add more, I'm not going to have an excess of product back there, which can cause lifting. So before you go in with your second layer, you want to make sure you remove any excess dust, and then I do spray it with alcohol and brush it off as well, just to make sure that it's really nicely cleaned. So I'm just going to squeeze the Polygel right onto the nail. This is the easiest way that I have found to get that apex built properly. Since I'm starting back towards the cuticle area, but not all the way back, I'm going to work my brush just to pat the back edge and blend it into my natural nail bed. Then I will work down the sidewalls just along the where the natural nail bed is to make sure that it is nicely thin in those areas. I'll leave the bulk of the product right in the apex, and then I will start pulling down the rest of the product to the tip of the nail. And again, because this product is so soft and the slip solution makes it so easy, you want to use very feather light touch on this. If you put any pressure into this, you're going to press into the Polygel through the slip solution, and it does make it kind of stick to the brush, and then you're going to ruin the work that you've done. So just make sure you're going in with super light pressure, and it just really glides over the nail. I've never formed a nail in such a quick amount of time. This was honestly like the easiest process I've ever had with Polygel. The only thing I will say is that I normally do 2 or 3 nails at a time with Polygel, and so that first nail I did has not been cured yet. If you watch on the right hand side, so the side on your screen to the right that's closest to the middle finger, as I work this middle finger, it's going to start to, the product's going to start running onto that right hand side. So I do have to go back and touch it up before I cure it. So what I would recommend is just when you're using a product like this that's super soft, cure it for 10 or 15 seconds in between nails just to keep it in place and from moving. And then once you get all the nails done, you can go in with a final cure.
Nobody's stealing covers. I like to drink to myself, so I'ma have another no. I don't need a hand to hold tight, don't need a love that's all mine. But sometimes I just want somebody to talk to. can do my own moves, no, I don't need a hand to hold tight. Don't need a love that's all mine. But sometimes I just want somebody to talk to, someone that's on my mind. I want something that's all cool, and it don't waste my time. Yeah, I just want somebody, just want somebody. I just want somebody to talk to, somebody to talk to talk to. I wanna have somebody, wanna have somebody, wanna have somebody that's cool. I wanna have somebody, wanna have somebody, wanna have somebody that's cool. I just want somebody to talk to, someone that's on my mind. I want something that's all cool, all cool.
So this is going to be the last nail I show. I'm just going to give it a cure for a full 60 seconds. It'll be done. My dog wanted to say hello, and she is like such a mama's girl. She's always right beside me, so I let her poke her little head in more than I normally would, just so you guys could see her little head. So I wiped off the tacky layer with a gel cleansing wipe. It's basically just an alcohol wipe, and I'm going to go into my shaping process. The one thing I noticed about this is that there wasn't much of a tacky layer. When I cured this, it almost felt like I had used like a top coat rather than a base coat. It was really strange. Usually Polygel has a pretty good tacky layer, but this time it didn't. I still cleansed them all just to be safe, because you don't want to leave that on there and end up filing, and then it's touching your skin, that uncured stickiness, and you could end up with an allergic reaction eventually that way. So I would still recommend cleansing it, but it almost seemed like it didn't need it. So that was pretty cool. So basically what I did is I just cleaned up my sidewalls, made sure they were nice and straight, and now I'm taking a 5-in-1 drill bit. I like this one for blending around the sides of the nail and then following down over the length of the nail. It helps me really in my finish filing and shaping, just to make sure that the nail is exactly shaped how I want it. And because it is a 5-in-1, which means it can go clockwise, counterclockwise, which is forward and reverse. And then at the tip of it, it's fine. In the in the middle, it's medium grit. And then at the base of the bit, it is a coarse grit. So this bit can it can handle any products. When I'm using it with Polygel, I don't go lower than the middle. You definitely don't need to. It's a soft product. I mostly use the tip of it in that fine grit, just to make sure that I'm shaping it up without taking off any bulk, because there isn't a lot of bulk with these nails in the first place. So I'll go through a couple nails doing the same thing. I start with sharpening my side walls with my hand file. Then I go from the right side of the nail up the sidewall, around the cuticle, and then down the left side of the nail. Then I carry my bit over the entire body of the nail, making sure that my sidewalls are thinned out and my free edge is thinned out, and then I have a nice amount of product in my apex area. If you guys would like to know more about like shaping nails and like really understanding what I'm talking about as far as apex and sidewalls and everything, let me know. I would be happy to do a more detailed video on the structure of a nail and how it should look for you. But if you're not interested in seeing it, then I don't have to do that. I want to be as helpful as I can. So really what I film for you guys is dictated by what you guys want to see. So after I do my shaping with my e-file, I do finish up with 180 grit file, just to make sure my sidewalls are perfect, and then I go over the top of the nail to make sure it's nicely smoothed out. Then I will get a 100 grit buffer block and smooth out the nail just a little bit further. I would not recommend using a grit on a buffer that is higher than 100, because the higher the grit, the smoother the buffer. And when you're going to be using a gel, like I'm going to be using a gel top coat on top of the nails, you don't want to go any finer than 100 grit. It needs something to grip onto. So I'll let you guys watch me shape, and I'll be back here shortly.
You make me feel company.
So I kept filing this side because if you can see right here, it was a little fat looking and it wasn't straight. Even though I'm using a file that has no bend in it, it's a really stiff file, I wasn't getting a straight sidewall. That's because the excess product was on top of the nail. It was not on that side. So when you seem to be filing and filing and filing and it's not going thinner or straighter for you, check the top of the nail because that's most of the time where the issue lies. So now I'm going to go in with my top coat and I'm going to apply some butterfly glitter right into the uncured top coat.
Take a risk and never do. You make me feel like I'm flying with no parachute. No parachute. With no parachute. No parachute.
In this butterfly glitter mix, there are small pieces of glitter as well. So after I got my butterflies placed, I just went in and picked up some of the smaller little glitter pieces and kind of placed them in those empty areas. So on this nail, I'm going to, again, use my top coat, and into the top coat, uncured, I'm going to press in some glitters. I'm going to use the pink, the kind of white, but it's kind of like more of like an opalescent white, and then also the dark blue. So I'm just going to put glitters into various places and make it a little bit sporadic. I'm not looking for completely fully covered nail here. I want everything to be a little bit broken up.
Gotta have it, she all done up. And if she see it, she cop it. She don't care if you don't like it. She rockin' crew necks with some bands she never heard of. Black skinny jeans, docs on in her hair day. Got an attitude, she'll give it to your face. She don't really care what anybody thinks. She addicted to the manicures and coffee. But don't say that, cause she ain't that. No, she is more than she seems. She addicted to the manicures and coffee.
So now that I've gotten that basically how I like it, I cure it for a full 60 seconds, and now I'm using my brush just to press everything flat as I can. It'll make it easier to create a smooth effect on the nail when I cover it with top coat. Now on this nail, I'm going to use some of the gold chrome flakes, and I don't want it to be a fully chrome nail. If I did, I would use the no wipe top coat. I would cure it for 20 seconds, then I would go in with the chrome flakes and rub it on. But I want this to be mostly gold, but also broken up. So I started with my silicone applicator, and then I switched to an eyeshadow applicator and just pressed it all over the nail until I got the coverage that I was looking for, where it was really full coverage but still missing bits. That was the reason I used the base coat on this nail, because the chrome likes to stick more to and become more of like a chrome effect to a no wipe top coat. Sorry for all the shaking of the camera, guys. It's been hard for me to find an angle where I can put my silicone hand and not cause shaking, because my silicone hand kind of sits, or the holder sits through the opening of my tripod. So I'm going to mess around with some different ways of placing the hand so that that doesn't continue to happen. I'm just going to use striping tape and place a couple of diagonal lines here on this nail. Then we will go in and top coat everything. I do top coat the glitter nails twice. I top coat the striping tape twice to help keep it sealed in. And then the chrome, I still would top coat twice just to help keep it from chipping. Chrome has a tendency to chip, so if you top coat it twice and you make sure to cap your free edge and under your sidewalls, you'll get less chipping, if any at all. Now, like I said, normally I would top coat this whole look twice, but since it's a silicone hand, I'm not going to waste the product and top coat everything twice. With the glitter, when I top coat it, I will create a slip layer and paint over the entire surface. Then I will use a bigger bead to run down the center of the nail and create a smoothness. This will help keep any of the edges, especially on the butterflies, from sticking up and creating an uneven surface. But if you notice that you've done it and top coated it twice and it's still not completely smooth, or you're having edges stick up through the top coat, go ahead and use a buffer and buff down your surface, cleanse it off, and then give it another top coat, and it should be good to go. That's about it, guys. After my top coat, I gave it an alcohol cleanse and I was all done. I want to know what you guys think of the look down below. Let me know what you think of the kit as well. I personally absolutely love it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to add bling or not to this set, so I just decided to leave it off since there was so much going on already. But let me know what you think down below. Of course, if you have any questions, suggestions, or requests for different sets, let me know down below. I love to hear from you guys. Be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye!